Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us at this special West Ada School Board meeting. Today we have a very good agenda, very exciting agenda. We also have one trustee missing, just for the record. That'd be Trustee Johnson. She's not able to attend. Otherwise, we have the other four trustees, including myself, attending. So we will start out today's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would please just mute yourself, and we'll spend a few to recite the Pledge of Allegiance in private. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we'll be starting with item A, which is recommendation for principals. And we'll begin with Mr. Marcus Myers, and who will recommend for Summerwind STEM Academy. Mr. Myers.
Good morning, Chairman Klopfenstein, trustees, and Superintendent Dr. Reynolds. This morning, it's an honor to represent the learners at Summerwind STEM Academy. Before I share the recommendation for building principal, I'd like to recognize the professionalism and dedication of the Summerwind team and their leader, Mr. Joe Palaia. Joe Palaia's leadership over the past 9 years is greatly appreciated and evidenced in every facet of the Summerwind community. We wish him the very best, and we're excited for the journey ahead and for the opportunity to share his leadership with the students, parents, and staff at Crossroads. I also want to thank the Summerwind leadership team who provided their professional insight and focus on the mission, vision, values, and goals of Summerwind STEM Academy. Their mindset regarding effective leadership and collaboration are commendable. These members were Krista Arterbury, Liz Hyde, Milagros Izaguirre, Crystal McNamara, Mary Sue Messenger, Carolyn Moody, Riley Newhouse, Lena Penry, and Susie Pozos. With that, it's an honor to recommend Megan Stewart as the next principal at Summerwind STEM Academy. Ms. Stewart is currently the assistant principal at Meridian Middle School. She has served the West Ada learning community since 1993 as an assistant principal, summer school principal, administrative intern, gifted and talented facilitator, and elementary teacher. Megan is a learning leader who settles for nothing but excellence in all of her learners. Through supportive and visible learning practices, she'll guide Summerwind's PLCs through data analysis, goal setting, monitoring of instruction, and establishing best practices. Ms. Stewart is highly skilled at establishing collaborative and reliable systems where students and adults are learning at high levels at all times. In her 3-year plan for the future of Summerwind STEM Academy, Megan outlined the opportunities for STEM integration to re-engage the learning community and ensure career and college success for our students. Upon your approval, we're looking forward to celebrating the successes of Summerwind STEM Academy alongside the leadership of Principal Megan Stewart. Ms. Stewart has joined our meeting this morning and has a few comments as well as responses to any questions you may have. Megan?
Thank you, Mr. Myers, for your kind words. Chairman Klopfenstein, members of the board, and Dr. Reynolds, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning as the recommended candidate to become the next principal of Summerwind STEM Academy. I would be honored to continue my 25-year journey as an educator in the West Ada School District in this capacity. I am grateful to the Summerwind STEM leadership team for their long hours and dedication and for their building recommendation. I am also thankful for the confidence of the executive team in recommending me for this position. My own children attended Summerwind for 5 years, where I was an active parent volunteer in the classroom and PTO. I also served as the gifted and talented facilitator at Summerwind for 3 years. It is still the warm and inviting school that I remember so well. I am grateful for the leadership that Mr. Palaia has provided to Summerwind over the last 9 years, and I look forward to continuing this success as I work alongside some amazing elementary educators. Summerwind is a school with many programs that support all students in learning, and I'm excited to be a part of this great team. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Mrs. Lisa Austin, principal at Meridian Middle School, and the rest of the MMS administration team, teachers and staff and students for their support over the last 4 years. MMS is a special place, and I have been extremely lucky to have been there. Members of the board, at this time, do you have any questions for me?
Board, do you have any questions for Ms. Stewart?
This is Trustee Ozuna.
Trustee Ozuna.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to tell you congratulations and wish you luck at your new role.
Thank you so very much, Trustee Ozuna.
You know, I would like to echo that as well. I think STEM is such an important area, and I was just curious about, especially as young kids, especially when they're trying to understand math. Math is is a challenge if you don't learn it early. And I was hoping to find out what your perspective on that might be.
Well, I think that when we're looking at our early learners in math, it's about laying the correct foundation. It's about making sure that they have critical thinking skills, that they understand there are multiple ways to solve a problem, but it's also about making sure that the basic skills are in place. And we're talking about number sense, and we're talking about being able to understand and work with numbers. And that's really very vital. So for me, I think math begins as a journey of inquiry and excitement, and where we see it all around us. And that's the great thing about STEM, is that students are able to apply all of those wonderful skills that they have in math to a variety of opportunities.
Wonderful answer. Thank you so much. Any other trustees have questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Smiley.
Mr. Chairman and Ms. Stewart, congratulations on this new position. We used to live about 2 blocks from Summerwind, and our kids attended there, and we love the neighborhood. It's a very diverse neighborhood because Summerwind has such a diverse variety of programs, and I'm really especially appreciative that your background at Crossroads has prepared you for that. Any thoughts about I really appreciated what you had to say, but any thoughts about the specific transition in the neighborhood at Summerwind? Because I know you know the area.
I do know the area, and I would say that Summerwind offers many opportunities to bring a lot of learners together. And I believe that my experience at Meridian Middle in visible learning, in working in a title school, and working with my EL students and families has prepared me to be a part of the Summerwind community, because they also share the same types of learners. And I feel like there are opportunities abounding, and I'm excited to join that staff. It's a very strong staff, which was evidenced by their incredible questions during the building interview. And I just hope to hop on that train and join that team and be a part of all of the good things that are happening there.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And really look forward to all the great things you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, members of the board, Chairman Kloppenstein and Dr. Reynolds. And thank you, Mr. Myers.
Wonderful. So next we have, and thank you very much, Mr. Myers, for presenting. Next we have Dave Moser, who has a recommendation for Heritage Middle School. Mr. Moser.
Good morning, Chairman Kloppenstein, members of the board, Superintendent Reynolds. Before I get into the recommendation for Heritage Middle School, I do want to congratulate Megan Stewart. Knowing Megan from my time as a principal at Centennial High School, and then getting to work with her closely over the last 4 years at Meridian Middle School, I'm confident that she is the right fit at Summerwind Elementary. So congratulations, Megan. I couldn't be happier for you. This morning, it is my pleasure to recommend the hiring of the next principal at Heritage Middle School. But before I do, I first must recognize the other outstanding members of the Heritage Middle School staff that I had the pleasure of working alongside throughout the hiring process. The list of outstanding educators include Brooke Roy, Bo Dahlgren, Bryce Gillespie, Christian Gross, Barb Carr, Brooke Hildy, Micah Lauer, Carrie Hanasek, Justin Marion, Jock Summers, Courtney Bunch, Amy Armstrong, Barb Denninger, and Kim Rhodes. I'd also like to thank the members of the executive team for their time throughout the interview process. Chairman Klopfenstein, members of the board, Superintendent Reynolds, this morning I'm honored to recommend Ryan Wilhite as the next principal at Heritage Middle School. Ryan is currently the principal at Barbara Morgan STEM Academy, where he successfully served in that capacity for the past 7 years. Proudly, Ryan is one of our own. Ryan graduated from Meridian High School, then he returned to MHS as a science teacher, department chair, and coach. After 7 years as a teacher at Meridian High School, Ryan began his administrative journey when he was hired as an assistant principal at Sawtooth Middle School, and then hired at Heritage Middle School as an assistant principal when they opened their doors in 2007. Ryan was an assistant principal at Heritage for 6 years. Beyond Ryan's understanding and connection to Heritage Middle School, he represented what the hiring committee was hopeful for in a candidate. Specifically, Ryan places high value in the relationships that are created with those that he serves, and he is deeply rooted in the power of professional learning communities as a foundation for student achievement and effective teaching in every classroom. Ryan's connection to Heritage and the success he has experienced throughout his career made it easy to bring him forward for this recommendation. Chairman Klopfenstein, members of the board, Superintendent Reynolds, I present to you Ryan Wilhite. Ryan is joining us this morning and is waiting to share a few words. Mr. Wilhite.
Thank you, Mr. Moser. Chairman Klopfenstein, members of the board, Superintendent Reynolds, it is my distinct pleasure to have the opportunity to continue to provide leadership in the West Ada School District. As Mr. Moser identified, I've had the privilege of being a part of this district since I was a child, and I've had the good fortune to be mentored by excellent leaders throughout my entire experience in the West Ada School District, and I thank each and every one of them for helping me grow as an educator, as a learner, and as a leader. It's a unique opportunity that I have before me to return back to Heritage Middle School, where 13 years ago, Mrs. McInerney, myself, and a team of talented teachers and educators had the opportunity to build that middle school from the ground up. And I am excited to continue the legacy of authentic relationship, collaboration, and a tradition of excellence as I rejoin Heritage Middle School and help them move forward in this next chapter of their school. I would also like to thank all of those at Barbara Morgan STEM Academy that I have had the privilege of working with over these past 7 years. It has been a great opportunity for me to gain experience at the elementary level. And there I was able to learn a lot about student ownership of learning and the kinds of things that need to happen for students to maintain that spark and that fire and desire to learn. And my hope is that I can take some of what I have learned at Barbara Morgan STEM Academy and translate that at the middle school level as I continue on there. Again, I thank you for this opportunity, and I would stand for any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilhite. Trustees, do you have any questions or comments?
Mr. Wilhite, this is Trustee Ozuna. I appreciate when I was looking through the letter that was submitted that you talked about when you were first starting with Heritage Middle and you were asked about how you build a school culture, and you said in this case you hire it. And I think that just really shows that you understand the importance of the people that that you have that surround your team and the people that you work with. And anyway, I really appreciated that. Good luck in your new role.
Trustee Ozuna, thank you for those kind words. And I would agree with you as a principal, hiring high quality teachers and staff is, I believe, among the most important role we have.
Any other trustees with questions or comments? I would like to say, Mr. Wilhite, I'm very excited that you're coming back. It's definitely a sign of a very positive school culture that graduates come back to serve. And I really appreciate your commitment to service and the fact that you put that forward. We all, especially on the board, we believe in an ideal of being of service to the district and our community, and I really appreciate you have that mind as well. Thank you very much, and truly appreciate your words.
Thank you, Chairman Klopfenstein. I appreciate it. It is my sincere pleasure and privilege to serve in this new capacity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you very much, Mr. Moser, for presenting. That brings us to item B, which would be the spotlight. And for school nutrition, and Mr. Yoakum will be presenting. Mr. Yoakum, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board of Trustees, Superintendent Reynolds, good morning. It is a privilege to recognize Jessica Hill, our school nutrition supervisor, for the work that she has done providing meals for the students and families of West Ada School District. After the district closed on March 16th, Jessica wasted no time contacting the State Department of Ed to set up remote meal sites. In record time, she did organize her staff. She determined the meal sites, scheduled staff for each site, and provided communication to the patrons of West Ada. Very collaborative effort to involve everyone she needed to involve. Within a week, meals were available for students. To date, West Ada has established 21 meal sites during the day, along with weekend meals at 5 selected schools. Thousands of meals are now served daily at these sites, along with meal delivery to children and families who do not have the ability to visit a remote site. She's currently working on family meal weekly kits with USDA, and again, working collaboratively with the district delivery team to provide food for critical need cases. Her efforts have garnered the attention of local business. Wendy's donated thousands of coupons for free Junior Frosties that have been included with the meals. So at a time of so much uncertainty in Idaho and the world, Jessica provided a beacon of light for district patrons and has embodied the very best of West Ada, continuously improving, adjusting, improvising, moving forward, whatever it takes to meet the needs of students. I speak on behalf of many when I say thank you, Jessica, for your inspiring leadership and for going above and beyond to make a difference. And I will just paraphrase a saying that I have here in front of me, that when a team of dedicated individuals make a commitment to act as one, the sky is the limit. And school nutrition is definitely heading in the right direction and pushing the limits in order to provide this service. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustees, do you have any questions on Mr. Yoakum's presentation?
And Jessica is here with us.
Oh, she is. I beg your pardon. I wasn't sure.
Yes.
Wonderful. Ms. Hill, I would love to hear you. I'd love to have you have the floor, please.
Chairman, I'm not sure if Jessica has a microphone at this time. I do not hear her.
Well, Mr. Yoakum, while we're waiting, would you by chance be able to tell us how many meals we're serving on a per daily basis? I know it's kind of out of the blue, but I was just curious if you might have a ballpark.
Mr. Chairman, at last report, it was in excess of 7,000.
Mr. Chairman, this is Trustee Newhoff.
Please, Trustee Newhoff.
Yeah, thank you. Joe, thank you for this update, and of course, thanks to Nutrition for everything that they're doing. It's been really, really quite impressive, and I know it's been a critical lifeline for a lot of people in our district community. You may or may not know the answer. I'm just curious. You know, you hear a lot of questions about supply chain and food and how things have been affected by the current situation. Are we experiencing any supply issues to provide these services? Do you know, Joe?
Mr. Chairman, Trustee Newhoff, I believe we're okay for the food items. Although I know we have been, using everything we have on hand in addition to ordering food as well. I know we were a little short earlier on things like bags and whatnot, but I haven't heard anything lately. So I'm guessing that we're probably okay at the moment as things start to stabilize, in society and the supply chains start to pick up again.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the thing that I worry about is one thing you see in the news, at least, is that with, the drop in restaurant volume that we've experienced, that's sort of a different part of the supply chain than going to Winco or Albertsons. And so hopefully that's all gonna work out and we can continue serving everyone. But thank you very much. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
And Mr. Chairman, I would just add one thing real quick, Trustee Newhoff. I did get a text from Jessica, and she confirms they've been working through their food issues, that it has been a challenge, as you rightly noted.
Thank you.
And she indicates that we do not have any shortages at the moment.
No, I'm so sorry that she couldn't be on the line to be able to present, but I truly appreciate what she's doing, and the fact that her services have gone to create 7,000 meals per day is an amazing difference being made in our community. Any other trustees with comments or questions?
Mr. Yocum, this is Trustee Ozuna.
Ozuna.
I echo the appreciation for what the food and nutrition team has done to get this up and running, and how many meals they're serving. It's just absolutely incredible. I'm curious, as we move forward into the fall, will the work that they've done this summer put us in a position where we'll be ready to be able to serve lunches if we end up with a school closure? Will they be able to serve lunches on day one of a closure?
Mr. Chairman, Trustee Ozuna, I have Jessica here on my phone on the speaker. So with your permission, I will allow her to answer that question. Jessica?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Board members, Dr. Reynolds, can everyone hear me okay?
I can,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Wonderful. So the answer to the question on how it will look based on first day of school, it really will be contingent on how we are going to return to school, whether we're going to be serving in classrooms, what type of schedule we're looking at, the remote learning. The State Department has been getting these questions, and they don't have clear definition and guidelines for us to move forward. But our waivers have been recently extended through the end of August to provide meals in this non-congregate fashion. So we will continue to provide meals with the resources that we have. That will allow us to do that as long as we can do that through the summer. And then starting the new year, we will work very hard to accommodate and get meals to students within our limitations and guidance from the state.
Can I ask a follow-up to that? So how does the process work if, assuming that we're able to open in the fall, and if for some reason we had to close a school, can you do lunches the way that you're doing them today on day one, or do you have to apply for a waiver in order to be able to do that, which automatically then puts a gap in place for some of these kids?
I'm assuming that we're gonna have to apply for a waiver. There is no such waiver available at this point in time. But with all these, the schools starting to make their plans to return, a lot of these questions have been posed to the State Department, and they have been working with their West Region USDA to get some of these answers so that we can have things in place and ready to go come start school.
Okay, thank you for that. And thank you for everything that you and your team are doing.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, this is Trustee Smiley.
Trustee Smiley, please.
I simply want to add what the other board members have said directly to Jessica. Your work has just been amazing. We so appreciate everything you've done to virtually without a hitch, to in spite of all these challenges, to keep things moving. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. It is definitely a collaborative effort, and I would not have been able to accomplish what I have without our kitchen team, and the collaboration of those in the district office have been an amazing place to work with and people to work with.
Ms. Hill, this is Chairman Klopfenstein. Was curious at the beginning of this whole process, was it difficult for you to create collaboration with other agencies to get resources? Just curious how, just to start this process, how easy or hard it was.
To start the process, it was a challenge because everything was new and we were waiting on guidelines from the USDA, what we can and can't do. Once those guidelines came down, we were ready to go because we were in the back end, we were getting all of our plans together. We had 55 schools full of food, so we knew we had product to get going, at least through the spring break, and returned to school on the 30th. So every day it's just been planning for the next day and the next week, but it is constant change and constant planning and just being ready for whatever challenges we may face that day.
Do you see any hurdles coming up in the next, from other agencies or from policy or whatever, I guess, laws that might inhibit you for the fall?
I don't foresee anything as far as regulations from the state. Idaho has actually applied for every single waiver that the USDA has offered. So we're very lucky in that fashion because not every state has had that fortunate doings. But as far as starting up, my only concerns and challenges would be food. We hear that certain manufacturers are down, and we've had challenges with food shortages with our vendors currently. So I think going forward, that will be our challenge. But I do have plans. I'm stocking and hoarding food to make sure that we're secure for the first month of school when we return. And then hopefully everything will be played catch up, or it'll all be there and it'll be seamless. So I'm already working on securing food for that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, and thank you so much for your presentation, Ms. Yu. Thank you also for helping us get through to make sure we could hear directly to Ms. Hill.
Thank you, Mr.
Wonderful.
Chairman.
Thank you. That brings us into our final item for the meeting, which would be the the consent agenda for the meeting. So do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, this is Trustee Newhoff.
Trustee Newhoff.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I second.
Thank you very much for that motion, Trustee Newhoff, and for the second, Trustee Smiley. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 And Chairman is aye as well, so it makes it 4 with 1 absent. Thank you very much for the approvals, and also thank you very much to Mr. Hillwhite and Ms. Stewart for your new adventure, and we truly appreciate what you're going to be doing at those schools. And that brings us into the adjournment. We have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to adjourn.
Thank you very much, Trustee Smiley, for the For the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Ozuna with the second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 And Chairman is aye as well, makes it 4 with 1 absent. Thank you very much, everyone. I truly appreciate the time and have a wonderful day. Thank you.